This is Red Dog Terrain. Welcome back to the shed. This is the final video in my inn/pub series. At this point I have painted the majority of the walls in a beige color, and now I'm just cutting in. My advice to other terrain builders is to make sure you have enough paint so you don't end up at Walmart at 5 o'clock in the morning getting something that doesn't quite match what you had. Here I'm painting the thick beams around the doors and the windows and the corners and wherever structurally I thought it might need it, with a chocolate brown from Appleberry. The color difference may be a little drastic at this point, but after washes and dry brushing, the difference is far less notable and things tend to blend together better. I noticed this wall was a little wobbly, but that's nothing straight pins and extra glue can't fix. I'm doing a little touch-up work on the stones outside where the Sculptamold got a little out of hand. I'm not the tidiest of terrain builders, but covering up with paint seems to work just fine, and it adds a little bit of character, or at least that's what I tell myself. A technique I learned from other crafters is to pick out a few stones and paint them in bold stone colors like Pueblo and Heritage Brick. Though it does look like a colorblind clown has been decorating, after washes and dry brushing and more dry brushing, things blend together and you get a natural yet still distinct and colorful look. I once did an underwater terrain and I used blues and greens and yellows, and it worked out pretty well. As we take a look at the progress so far, I want to thank the band IAH for letting me use their songs during my videos. Turns out they're really nice guys who like D&D and were happy to let me use their tunes. Thanks. Here I pulled out a good brush and started painting the window sills and panes in a gunmetal. Next time, I think I'll paint all these before I install them. It'll be easier. Here I begin the time-honored tradition of so many terrain builders and mini painters of painting real stone to look like stone. When you put real rocks on there, it just doesn't quite look right. So you paint them all gray, you do a dry brush, you do some washes, and people say, "Wow, those rocks look so realistic. Well done." I did a dry brush over the floors. There's not a lot of texture for it to pick up on, but I did it to break up all of the brown. When I first started this project, I thought about carving in the board lines, but it made it difficult for players to see the individual 1-inch squares they could move in when playing. These brushes are just Dollar Tree makeup brushes. For $1.25, they are by far the best dry brushes out there. Dry brushing is definitely my favorite part of the painting process. Going over everything with beiges and off-whites really brings out the nooks and crannies. I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy as this corral comes to life. Here you can see the difference between no dry brush, tan dry brush, and a second lighter dry brush. I did the exterior stone, but forgot to record it. I did the same technique on the interior and exterior walls and beams. I used the same color, so I'm not really sure why I didn't do it all at once. Here comes the messy fun part, washes. You can buy washes, you can buy Nuln Oil, but I find the easiest way, the cheapest way, is just to make your own. This wash is 1 part craft paint to about 15 parts water with a couple drops of dish soap and mixed really well. I've actually got 2 washes going here, a black and a brown, just to get a little bit of variation. Slather it all over the place and then wipe it away with a paper towel or with one of those makeup brushes. It runs into the cracks and crevices, it shows all the wood texture, and tones down some of the dry brushing and all the bright colors you put on earlier and evens everything out. Here you can see without the wash and with the wash. What a difference. Now we come to the part everybody's been waiting for, flocking. I actually made my own flocking as a base material. A friend of mine gave me a very large bag of sawdust. I sifted out the larger pieces and then poured in a bunch of green paint and mixed it vigorously. It may not be the best, but it does the job and creates a great base layer. Since I took the time and detail work to make a good ground texture, I can put the glue basically wherever I want, and those parts that don't get grass on them still look good. I kind of dabble glue everywhere, making sure to mostly stick to the edges where the grass would be freest to grow, and then dump my base grass all over the place. I do everything on a large cookie sheet so I can save all the runoff. Everything gets mixed together and it kind of makes it look more realistic. The homemade flock is great, but this foam flock from Woodland Scenics really does a great job of making moss and filling in all the gaps. As I put on a few dabs of glue and a variety of Army Painter tufts, and also a bush that I found buried in my greens box, I want to thank all those who have been liking my videos and subscribing and following on Instagram and YouTube. It's greatly appreciated. I feel all the love and encouragement. I have a lot more projects and ideas for the future, and I plan to continue this channel and this hobby for quite some time. Thank you, everyone. This is definitely not a sponsored video, but I want to say that World War Scenics makes the absolute best flowers for the money out there. The big reveal will be in the next video. Please check it out. It should be up shortly.